add value, because we all know that Plexus can add value to everybody. We just have to figure out how. And what their needs are, and then how to go about it. A little side note, right now my team is about to do a book study on the 4 color personalities of MLM by Al Schreider, and that's a great way to kind of navigate what your potential would need to hop on board. Because I think a lot of times we go at it the way that it would be beneficial for us, and we're not attracting to them to what we're doing. We might be talking about something that really isn't important to them. So we have to really kind of look at our potentials personally and try to fill need of theirs. So how are we going to do that? So we have 3 new resources that are unbelievable. So the first is our catalogs, and they're digitally available in our shareables, which is awesome. They're so much more aesthetically pleasing. Just the images and the pictures, I love them. The other cool thing about the catalogs is they have some scientific backing to ingredients, as well as our clinical studies. So that really kind of packs a little more power when we're sharing these with our potentials. You can also get the bundles in the back office, and I encourage everybody to do that. One of the things that I've done in the past, and I'll continue to do, is buy the catalogs and take them with me when I do, meet with people. But also I mail them to potentials with sticky notes on them, highlights, just kind of, excuse me, what would benefit them personally, with a nice little note, that I was thinking about them, and, that we should meet up or chat. If they're not local. Yeah, I agree. The other thing is the Success from Home magazine. We all got happies at Super Saturday. So cool that we're featured again in here. Same thing, same idea. This would be great if for your dream team people, obviously not all of us can afford to get a bunch of these and mail them everywhere. But if you can, I would say, think of 5 people that you and your dream team and go through it. Read the stories of our amazing leaders, and there's so many different stories, and how it would relate to them. Again, highlight, sticky notes, send it with a nice note in a sample of Slim, and that's a great way to connect with somebody. And you can send them a message and say, hey, I put this in the mail today. I can't wait for you to get it. We'll talk soon, sort of thing. So that's a great resource for us. The triplex video. I'm so excited about this. Sometimes I'm a little leery of any kind of corporate video material, just because sometimes it can be salesy. Our Trim Up has a cat in it, which I find to be hilarious. So this one, though, is absolutely awesome. And it actually says things in it that I didn't know we could say. So that was kind of cool too. It talks a little bit about immune challenges, which is awesome. So that wording is obviously compliant. And your mood, and how your gut is connected to your serotonin levels, which we all know, and how it can impact your metabolism. So it's nice and short and sweet, and gives a great picture of what our products can do to heal your body from the inside out. This is an amazing tool, I think, again, to utilize in messages after you get to that point of trying to explain to them how we can help them with our products. So that's what I have.
Awesome. We matched today.
I know. I saw that.
I love using those catalogs, and I've done that for a long time. And I use Success from Home when we had it before. But I literally go in there and take a Sharpie and write all over, and write what I take and why I like it, and just mark it up. And so those are great tools for sure. Thank you so much, Kate.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
See you later. Okay, next we have Kristen Rogers. And Kristen, you were in Sacramento, correct?
Yep.
All right, take it away, Kristen. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to start out by saying that I've never personally met Kim or Amber or Jana, but I can tell you that Allie was felt all the way over here in California. I don't want to cry. But my family and I started, and Super Saturday was proof to that, when Kelly was speaking about our schedules and how we give our all to Plexus, but we do need to schedule ourselves, and we start this for our family and our faith and everything. So we need to trust that He's going to do that to us. Even God is going to work in us even if we're not on our phones 24/7. So for New Year, we're doing no cell phone Sunday. So His presence was felt a lot. And I'm not one to memorize verses, but He threw Luke 1:36 at me like none other. So it says, with God, everything is possible. So, or anything is possible. See, I can't even get it right, but it's there, Luke 1:36, 1:37. So I just had to realize that even though I was freaking out that I wasn't there for my team, like, are my newbies going to think I'm just gone? Are they going to be lost? Or, what's going to happen? I woke up the next day to a new preferred customer. My team had all done their live videos that I had challenged them to do that weekend, and it was just proven again. So I know Allie's working, even though she doesn't know a lot of people. So, sorry.
No, you're good. As I said from the stage in Pennsylvania, we didn't even know anything had happened until afterwards, but just in life, I was like, it's real life up in here. Like,
yeah,
real people, this is the real deal. So, I mean,
yeah.
I'm so sorry about anything, seriously.
So I have my 5 things that I loved. My number 5, I don't know why I put it as 5, but it was prayer, because we all closed in prayer, I think, that day. And for me, that just proves to me that we are in the right company and the right place, and we're doing this for a lot more reasons than pay points, and it's a great reminder. So I did love the Rank Up roadmap that Kate touched on. I think that's going to be awesome. Our trainers did say, though, for us leaders, and you're a leader if you have one ambassador or one customer under you, it's not to give you like a free, you still need to be there for your team. The Rank Up roadmap will just be another tool, just like our products are a tool in our health journeys. The Rank Up roadmap will be a great tool to train your team at any level that they're at now. And then again, going silver every month, that's a goal I set for myself. Still, as an emerald, every month I want to go silver. I want to prove to my team that when I hear those excuses about, I've already talked to everyone, my network is gone after 2 years, and sharing Plexus every day, I can say there's only been a couple of months where I haven't added 3, and that's only because I still reach out. I still add people to Facebook. I still talk to new people at school. So we did talk about excuses and how they get in the way. One of my favorite things that Kelly told us, was to get up every morning and look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're going to be gold. If you're silver, look in the mirror and tell yourself you're going to be gold. If you're gold, say, I'm going to be senior gold. Or just say, I'm going to be emerald. I'm going to be a jewel. Tell yourself that every day. Because one of our biggest hangups in this company is we may have all the belief in our products, but we don't have the belief in ourselves. So if you can have that same belief in yourself that you have in our products, then there's no reason that you guys can't reach the level of jewel and double diamond. We still have so much room for a lot of double diamonds up in here. So, and one of the ways to get there is to follow up. I had about 2.5 rows of my team sitting there, and when Kelly said one of the biggest things she hears is, well, I don't want to bother them. And I looked down, and I think by looking at the faces of my team, I think I've heard that from every single person. They'll get back. I told them about Plexus. They liked my post, so when they're ready, they're going to contact me. But she told a quick story about how you walk through the mall and you see that they're offering free makeovers, and maybe you would love to get a makeover, but at the time you don't really have the time, but you would love to do that. You need some new makeup. So your time goes by and you just forget. But if they had asked, can I follow up with you? Can I give you a call and set up an appointment? and you say, yeah, you give them permission, that's fine. You may forget, but when you get that phone call, you're never going to call them back to set it up. But if they call you, oh yeah, I have time, I'll be there next week again to do that. It's the same thing in our business. Check in with them. Plexus has not changed their lives yet like it's changed ours. So until they have those products in hand and get them taking them, they're not going to have the love that we have. So keep following up. That was a huge thing that they touched on that I loved. So those are my points.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, next we have Heather Smith, and Heather was in Orange County. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you for being on.
Of course. So my name's Heather. I was in Orange County.
Was this your first Super Saturday to be at? Or had you been before?
Well, it was my second one.
Okay.
But I was going to incorporate that little story because
okay. Sorry.
that's okay. So I've been in Plexus, I've been taking the products for a little over 2 years, but I was super opposed to working the business in the beginning. And because I had done network marketing before and had failed miserably and just embarrassed myself. So we had sworn off network marketing, but I started taking the Plexus products and loved them. And the business kind of just fell into place because of my friends seeing how different I was, and then they wanted to do the same thing, and all of a sudden, that was back when we got paper checks from Plexus. I got a paper check in the mail, and my husband's like, what are you doing? Are you working this? So it kind of fell into place, but I was rather slow at it. I was in nursing school. I homeschool my kids, so I wasn't working it very hard. So I've been in this now for 2 years. I'm a silver ambassador. And about 6 months ago, I'm pregnant now. I'm due in about 7 weeks. It was after I finished my first trimester, so I had been feeling awful, throwing up all the time. I actually got to meet Amy and Eric Paul through one of my other ambassadors who randomly met them, and we were able to have dinner with them. And I was like, honestly, you guys are my Plexus idols. I mean, I love your family and I'd love to be like you guys, but I work full time as a nurse and I homeschool, and now I'm going to have my third baby. How do I do all of this? And, they have 7 kids. So I knew she was the perfect person to talk to. And she's just like, you just do it every day. You consistently work at it. And, so I have been doing that for the last 6 months, and I'm still not a gold yet. I've been so close now for the last 3 months, but it just hasn't all happened yet. So I'd say the week leading up to Super Saturday, I was like, wow, I'm going to go to Super Saturday, and I'm still a silver ambassador. And I was, on that emotional roller coaster where I'm positive thinking, talking to myself every morning. But at the same time, I'm I thought I would be, further along in this than I am. So reached out to my upline. She was really encouraging to me. And so the big thing for me for attending Super Saturday was the community and being there. We had almost 1,000 people at ours, and just being there in this room with all these people that are so excited. And it was my first time attending the opportunity meeting. I've watched, all the YouTube opportunity meetings, but it was my first time attending one. And that was really, really special to me. And that was almost one of my favorite parts because of hearing the testimonials. And there was one woman on there who even hadn't walked for a year, and she had started taking Plexus, and her whole life has changed, and now she has hope. And it was bringing all of us to tears. And so hearing these testimonials at the opportunity meeting was so powerful. And then in the Super Saturday, hearing the growth of the 2 diamonds that were leading, I had Heather Burke and Emily Finnell. and hearing their business testimonials for me was very encouraging. Heather has a lot of kids herself. She was working part-time. Her husband had a very full-time job where he had to be out of the house most of the time. And she had all these obstacles. She's like super shy, but despite all of that, she rose above it. And she just like, I'm in this race and I'm going to do it and I'm not going to give up. And then Emily Finnell, she described herself as being the negative friend. She was the friend that saw her friend Tiffany post on Facebook about Plexus, and Emily was like, I don't want anything to do with this. She was didn't want to talk to her friend Tiffany about it, but she realized afterwards it was because she was jealous because her friend Tiffany was growing this amazing business, and Emily didn't feel like she could be able to ever do that. So it took her 6 months to warm up to the idea, and then a bunch of her friends were doing it as well. And then she joined, and now she's a Diamond Ambassador. And so hearing their two business stories was also a huge encouragement to me as well. Also, someone else is going to be talking about this, but learning how to tell our stories as a beautiful story to share with people, that was very powerful. And the girl that talked on that subject at Super Saturday, I just did her webinar, her free webinar this morning, and that was full of amazing information. So I encourage you to follow up with that as well. And then 2 other points that I wrote down that were helpful for me was, in network marketing, there's never true emergencies. And I really had to take that to heart. I'm a nurse, and so like I see true emergencies, you know, they're not breathing, their heart is stopping, and we have to take action. And that type of action and that type of emotion that goes into that, I noticed that I could be putting that into my business. Like, I didn't get my shipment in, you know, I hear from someone and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and I have to realize like, nobody's dying. It's okay. We're going to handle this, but just take it easy and not let myself get so ramped up. And then, you know, that emotional roller coaster, keep it more steady. And then, Emily, or it was Heather, shared that she keeps her phone on Do Not Disturb when she goes to bed, and she keeps it on Do Not Disturb until after when she's woken up, taking care of herself, taking care of her kids, and then she turns her phone back on and is then able to handle the issues that have come her way. But she's already taken care of herself. So she's not putting herself last, and that helps her to have a better perspective on her day and everything that comes her way. So that was my big takeaway. I encourage everyone to go next year if you can.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I love those girls are precious. So if y'all, Emily, the one that she's talking about was on the Rank Up to Roadmap video. So for being such a negative skeptic, I mean, she believes in it a lot. And Heather is so sweet. I love her journey. And I know Heather, even, you know, doing Super Saturday, you know, she has a very shy personality. And so but I know she rocked it. She's amazing. Okay, next we have Stephanie Anderson, and Stephanie was in Nashville.
I've never unmuted myself before.
Yes. Thank you, Stephanie, for being on. I'm excited you're on here.
Sure. I was in Nashville. Jen Hawkins and Kathleen Hepler did ours, and my biggest takeaway was the Rank Up roadmap thing. Jen Hawkins actually created that, and they made that, you know, kind of like we were special because we got to hear it from the creator. So that was kind of fun. I really like that the companies made it so much easier for us to share Plexus and, you know, with the shareables and all of that. And I think this is just going to be a great next thing for us just to train our newbies. And I think, you know, we do our best to train our newbies and hope that it trickles down. And I feel like this is going to do a really good job in filling those gaps that we miss very easily. I liked the, we didn't actually have anyone say that there's no true emergencies in network marketing. I really like that. That's really cool because a lot of times we do tend to panic, and so I like that. Alita Allen also was our hostess, and she was amazing. She actually started our meeting with her rendition of Hello, and she put like Super Saturday and all of us getting ready to have fun and learn in the song, and it was so good. And she's got a wonderful voice, and it was awesome.
Is she the one that sang at convention last year too?
I think so because I remember saying, I think I've heard her before, and I couldn't remember where it was. I think so.
I saw that she did that national, but I haven't been able to listen to it. But I saw that.
I just saw it pop up today. I've been waiting because I saw a lot of people record it, and I did get a chance to. So I've seen it pop up on Facebook today, so it's out there.
Did you find it? Will you put it on our team page? Because I
I will.
Thanks, Stephanie.
That was really it. There was a lot of points I wrote down, but I mean, really, the Rank It Roadmap, I think, is going to be an awesome tool for us to help train our newbies.
It is. It's going to be awesome. And I think if they, roll out each section, I can't wait to see all of them.
Yes, to unlock as we go up, that's going to be cool so that you don't get too much information at once. It's not going to be overwhelming. So it'll help them really focus on that next step.
And I know y'all are all wondering when it's going to be sent out, and I'm just going to tell you I don't know the answer to that yet. I didn't even think, we were so wrapped up in prepping for Super Saturday and learning the material, and I didn't even think about that. And so I know several people have asked me, and y'all have just not had the chance to sit down and look. So I will try to figure that out and let y'all know as soon as I find out. So, okay. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
Sure.
And I want to say that Stephanie, she lives in Texas, and she went to Nashville to be with some of her team members, correct? Isn't that? Yeah.
I have 5 team members that said if I came with them, then they would go, which I was super excited about. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Okay, and so next we have Danielle Finch, and I'm so excited because Danielle, this was her first Super Saturday. She joined last year, the week before Super Saturday, and it was all sold out. And so I was so excited to hear her takeaways just from being a newbie and being, your first time at Super Saturday. So her and her husband both went. So I'm excited to hear what they learned.
Well, thank you for having me. And let me just preface this by saying that this is the first time I've ever spoke on a Zoom. Yeah. So if I have a tendency to look down, I apologize.
I look down all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the way I kind of organized my day was I just wanted to talk about my favorite part and what I enjoyed so much and what was most impactful to me. And Heather kind of touched on this, and she mentioned the lady that did the storytelling. And her name, if you want to write this down and look her up, her name is Kendra Hall. And Kendra is this cute little blonde lady. She's a multimedia journalist, and she's a storyteller. And she learned storytelling from her grandmother. And so her whole talk that she did, she incorporated stories, and she just had us engrossed. And so I've kind of challenged myself as I tell you about what she talked about to also incorporate my own stories. I love to take pictures, and pictures, we say, can speak 1,000 words. And that is why we share our before and after pictures. That's why we love them so much. But there are so many stories behind those pictures that aren't communicated. I mean, you can see weight loss, but you can't see the health changes. And that's our challenge, is to communicate what Plexus does for us. I kind of wanted to share a little bit of my son's story. His name is Caden, and he's 14 years old. And I could show you a picture of Caden a year ago, and I could show you a picture of him today. And if I did, you might say, yeah, Danielle, it looks like he grew about 2 or 3 inches. He looks a little bit taller. And that might be the only thing you see. But if I told you his story, you would just be like, oh, my goodness, his story has been life-changing. A year ago, prior to Plexus, Caden, and I'm just going to touch on one thing. I'm just going to touch on the intestinal issues with him. But Caden's intestinal issues were so bad, I used to say that he could probably harm a small animal or an infant if he was locked in the room with them. He would come into the van after school and just within 5 minutes have us rolling down the windows and griping and nagging at him just because it was really gross. And so when I talk about plexus and I talk about intestinal issues, I have that opportunity where I could say, oh, Caden just had terrible intestinal issues, or I could paint this picture of how bad it really was. And that was one of the things that Kendra encouraged us to do, was to paint a picture. And when we tell our story, there's two things that happen in our brain. There's two hormones that are released. One is cortisol and the other one is oxytocin. And cortisol increases a person's attention. So if you really want to engage someone and have their attention, you can tell a story. Oxytocin is the other hormone that is released, and that is a trust hormone. And so when you tell your story, if the person is listening, they have a tendency to use your words to form their own picture in their mind. So I'm telling you Caden's story, and you're kind of creating the scenario in the van of having to roll the windows down. And you're probably also thinking about maybe a child that you had and how you experienced that same thing and how plexus can relate. So when we tell a story, oxytocin in our brain is released, and people begin to form that connection, that trust hormone. If it worked for you, maybe it will work for me. So I just really want to encourage you to use words to create pictures to tell your stories. And we have 3 important stories that we can tell. The first story is the story of our why. Why are we passionate about sharing plexus with people? And we need to be specific. Sarah Marble gave us the example of peeling an onion. And she said, let's say your why is to give your children a better education. You could tell someone, well, I'm working my plexus business because I want to give my kids a better education. Or you can peel back the layers of that onion and you can say, I'm working hard in plexus because I want to send my son to a private Christian school. By going to a Christian school, there's a smaller teacher-student ratio. There's more opportunity to be involved in sports. I want my child to be involved in ministry opportunities. And it really paints the picture and gives the person the ability to connect with why you do what you do. And then that in turn encourages them to think about, if I shared plexus, if I joined this business, what could I do with it? Why would I want to do that? The second story that we have to tell is why we love our plexus products. And that story is, what has it done for you in your life? And I'm just going to challenge you to, be real specific. Don't just say that plexus has helped you to feel better. But again, paint that picture. Like, I have a customer who, she was so weak from her autoimmune issues that she never could go out to dinner. She could not physically get from the car to the restaurant without being totally wiped out. And even if she could get to the restaurant, she would not have been able to use the knife and fork because those were too heavy. So she was pretty much held captive in her house because she didn't have the strength and she didn't have the energy. She had to eat off of paper plates and use plastic forks because physically that's what she could hold. So you see the difference. You can either say, plexus makes me feel better, or you could paint this picture of really the difference that it's made. Because for this customer, it's made all the difference. And she can now carry her plate and her knife and her fork, and she can go out to dinner. And that opens up this whole area of travel for her and opportunity for relationship and just enjoyment of life. So really paint the picture of why we love plexus products. The third story we have to tell is the story of our business. Hold on just a second. I've lost my place. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry. I messed this up. But
You're
anyway,
good.
oh, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. You're
Hold
good.
on. Okay. Okay, well, just forget. I'm just gonna back up and I'm just gonna go with what my page says. Okay, when we share our story, it's really important that we ask questions along the way, that we engage our listeners. Sarah Marble was one of the speakers. We had Sarah Marble and Amy Paul at our Dallas Super Saturday. And when Sarah Marble was a little girl, her mom would take her to the playground. And Sarah, being the leader that she was, she would always grab the ball and she would want to control the situation and tell the other kids where to go and what to do. And her mom would always say, Sarah, rude never throws the ball back. And you don't want to be a rude girl. You want to throw the ball back. You want to play with the kids. You want to make friends. You want to engage them. And Sarah said, transfer that to our business into conversations that we have. When I'm telling you a story, if I just stand up here and I'm just talking, and I never ask you a question, how does that make you feel? So my challenge to you is to ask questions when you're telling your story. There's two types of questions that you can ask. You can ask a closed-ended question, and closed-ended questions typically just get a short one-word answer. You can say, have you tried the pink drink? And somebody's probably going to just say yes or no. So I'm going to challenge you to ask open-ended questions, and you get more information that way. An example of an open-ended question, just kind of going back to Caden's story. If I wanted to engage him, I could say, Caden, how did you feel when we used to give you a hard time about stinking up the van? How did that make you feel? And then Caden could say, Mom, I was really embarrassed, and Mom, I tried to control it, or I tried to hold it, but I just wasn't able to. And engaging him in that conversation helps me to see how he feels, understand his health condition more, and start to formulate the idea of how we can meet our customers' need. And so that's why it's important to ask the question. The quality of our answer is going to be determined by the quality of the question that we ask. So if you ask a yes or no question, that's all you're going to get. So we're just going to challenge you to ask people questions about how they feel physically. If it's a close friend, you might ask them about their goals and their dreams. That may be a good way to incorporate the business opportunity. But when people start sharing, that's when their need is exposed. And with Plexus, we have the opportunity to meet their physical needs. We can change, Plexus products can change their health. We have ways to meet their social needs. I've formed various friendships through Plexus that I'm forever grateful for. Right now, just with what we're going through with the Hootens and the Wallers, there's opportunity to meet emotional needs. And then, of course, financial needs. So with Plexus, we have a lot to offer. We just need to be bold. We need to be brave. We need to be confident. And we need to share our story. And don't be the rude person that doesn't throw the ball back. Ask those questions and offer solutions. So,
thank you, Danielle. You did great. Thank you so much. One of the first time that I watched that video from Kendra, it was funny because she's right. She's like talking about making specific stories within the story. And she was talking about when she was little, that she would go to her grandmother's craft shows, and then they would get to go to McDonald's. And she went into as much depth as we went to McDonald's, and I got chicken nuggets and sat on the plastic bench. And I was like, I totally remember getting chicken nuggets and sitting on the plastic bench. So it's really trying to connect with people in a way that may not even, like McDonald's chicken nuggets had nothing to do with what she was talking about, but it made people remember and start saying stuff. So as I was presenting at Super Saturday, I was talking about network marketing, and I was talking about how turned off I was by it, because my mom used to have all these parties, and I would watch her bring all this stuff in, and she would be like sweating and tired. I mean, it's physically exhausting from bringing all that stuff in, because she did homeware, so she'd bring bins and bins of home goods in and have to set them out. And I was thinking, that's a lot of work. And when I left, they were like, we're going to remember that. We're going to remember the picture that you placed of your mom dragging that stuff in, and anyway, so it really, if you can connect with somebody on a level, then that is good in telling your story. So anyways, so those were our wrap-ups. I know that we all gave the same information, but I feel like because there were different people speaking, that we could put our own spin and personality into everything, in our own stories. And I just thought it was great. I do. I think what Heather said about getting to the opportunity meetings and hearing stories, guys, like, you got to get fired up about Plexus. Plexus is changing lives, people's lives physically, in so many ways. And every time you get together with Plexus people and hear these stories, you get excited, right? You want to leave, and you start thinking about people that that may have the same situation. And so the testimonies always get me. I always say I don't leave a Plexus meeting either without chills or tears, because you're going to get one from a meeting. But I'm just being around the Plexus people too, right? It gets you fired up. So get to these meetings, have meetings, have a little sip and see, and get your friends together and share your story. But get fired up. Get fired up about convention. Get fired up about the contest that's going on, y'all. I have to apologize. I've been a complete mess this week and haven't even posted that on my page yet. But excuse me, the contest for the Garmin watch. That's a pretty cool prize. That's awesome, right? So it takes preferred customers with a minimum of $50, 3 new ambassadors with a welcome pack, and $500 PV. But that is a great prize. It also will help with convention credit contest. Convention credit contest is up. And it'll just get your PV up and get you some new people and some new things. So I want to encourage you, each of you, to be working on those things. And if you have questions about those things, please just let me know, because I do want to help. And again, I apologize that I have not gotten all of that information out on my page yet. I just haven't been able to. So anyways, but I will get that up there. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything? Does anybody have any questions? Ariel, do you have anything? Anybody?
Nicole Plunkvat.
Joni, hop on real fast and say where are you? I can't see you, but I see that you just asked. Can you unmute and say what you were going to say? Where are you?
Yeah, this is Joni Besser, and I went to Super Saturday in Arkansas, where Miss Alicia McKee was. And I just wanted to share something real fast about convention. I don't know about anyone else, but I just, I wanted to share when I found out about it. I was not super excited. I'm just going to be honest, but I was so happy that Alicia was there, and she said, God does not make mistakes in anything, in the big things or the small things. And so maybe there's a reason why Plexus people need to be in Vegas. And, that changed my whole attitude about it. And I actually started getting kind of excited about it. Like, oh my gosh, what can God use us for there? It can be super, super huge. And so I came back with a new attitude and a big excitement. And I shared that on my team page. And you guys, I'm not kidding. I have so many people already registered and their hotels booked. I'm super, super excited about that. So if anyone else was like me and maybe wasn't super excited about it at first, I would just encourage you to just think about the fact that God does not make mistakes in anything. We all know what we're going through with the Hootens and the Wallers and all of that, and look at what the beautiful things that are coming out of such a sorrowful time, with all the people being saved because of Allie's story. And so I don't know if this is helpful for anyone, but I just felt like I wanted to share it because I think going to Vegas is going to be a huge blessing for us. And we already know what to expect. Those of us who were there last year, we kind of know where we're going. And lot of positives, I think, that can come out of going there again. So definitely register and share with your teams and be excited, because we all know that leaders are made at events. So just wanted to share that.
Yes, for sure. Get there. I know, some people don't like Vegas, but guys, we're big. We have a big amount of people now. And so we have to go where we can have a place and have hotels and all of that. But I also want to say that, and I know that sometimes we get caught up, this me included, these events aren't about the location, right? They're about going and learning about Plexus and getting fired up about Plexus and hearing from our leadership. And, I know, like when Leaders Retreat was in Dallas, a lot of people that lived in Dallas were like, oh, we always go somewhere fun and we're going to Dallas, but it's not about the location, right? And I learned so much at Leaders Retreat and had so much fun with our teams. And so I know that, Plexus is doing the best that they can to have these things in locations where they think are great. And so you're right, there's a reason for it, but let's not get caught up in where it is and get caught up about what it is and what can happen at these things. So please get there if you can. I know that it's hard. The week it is this year is a little bit harder for some people. I get that. I totally do. I promise. I would not miss graduations personally. I would come. I mean, obviously not high school graduation, but I know there's elementary, middle school, but I would come for a couple days, even if I could, even if it meant that I could be there a couple days, I would be there for those couple days. It really is so important for you to be there for your business and to grow and just the excitement. I mean, you thought Super Saturday was exciting. Oh my gosh, convention's like off the chart, and so anyways, but work for those prizes. They're amazing prizes. And just let's do this. Let's make 2017 great, right? We've kind of been a little bit sidetracked, and that's okay, because family is first. Absolutely first and foremost. First and foremost, family is first. If you are on, but we have to just keep pushing forward step by step. That's what I told Jana and Amber yesterday. I said, you just have to take it step by step, moment by moment. And we have to do that too. And so thank you all for being on here. Thank you for letting me lose it. I'm going to be honest, and I forgot to hit record until Kate started talking. So that whole first part was not recorded. But thank you. And thank you for letting us have that prayer time for them. So just let me know if you have any questions, and y'all have a great day. Bye, guys.